Hi there. You're listening to Dolphin Radio, for students, by students. Today in studio, I have Geoffrey Miller. He's the president of the Physician's Assistant Club here on campus, so I hope you'll stay tuned.
My name is Geoffrey Miller, and I'm a returning student here at Cal State Channel Islands. I was a former paramedic for American Medical Response here in Ventura County. I have almost 20 years of EMS experience. I started out as an EMT.
So how far are you into your new career education?
I graduate this year, so I'm a senior. I graduate in May. Yeah, I'll have a bachelor's in biology with a minor in chem. It's been a long road.
PA stands for?
Oh, PA is physician assistant.
Okay.
It's been around since like the Vietnam War. There was a shortage of doctors, so the Navy had their corpsmen. So what happened was these corpsmen were kind of specially trained to assist doctors just in surgery or just in general care. And then once the war ended and all these individuals came back stateside, there really wasn't a place for them. So there were some people at Duke University, and they thought, you know what, maybe we can train these people and integrate them into civilian medicine, and they can start augmenting physicians. So it's kind of like a nurse practitioner.
Okay.
So they're both pretty much the same. Each one has some little special areas.
You said you were graduating in May
Yeah.
with a biology major and a minor in chemistry, correct?
Yes.
So is there anything else you'll need to go on to do to become a physician assistant?
When I came back to school, I started talking to a lot of PA schools and a lot of their recruiters, and I wanted to find out what exactly I needed to get in, because the first information session that I went to, there was Fred Tovar, who actually, he's like the head of admitting, so he's the one that reads your application,
Yeah.
and whether he keeps it or if it just goes in the old circle file. So talking to him, I wanted to know, like, what exactly do I need? I'm not a young kid. I mean, I have some life experience, I have job experience. What do I need to focus on? So after he heard a little bit of my background, he said, how much community service do you have? Have you volunteered? And I said, I really haven't had a chance to do that just with my career. And he said, you need to strengthen that area, because you're really strong in these other areas, but you're extremely weak in this area, so you need to bring this up. So I started looking at ways to get into community service and volunteering, and that's kind of where the Physician Assistant Club came in. So when I started the community college level, I started a Physician Assistant Club there.
Say I wanted to become a PA,
Okay.
and I had no idea that that's what I wanted to do, but I'm a biology major. I have some chemistry, but primarily I'm a biology major. Mm-hmm. But my grades are just, maybe 2.8, 3.1, somewhere along there. Should I just give it up, or does that matter?
No. Well, first, I always say, if you want something bad enough, you'll get it. Even if you're not academically astute, at least right now, I would recommend go back and repeat those classes. I graduated, I'm sorry to say, 1995, but when I went back to my community college, I sat down with a counselor and I said, what can I do? What classes can I repeat? And what classes can I not? Can we just at least start from there? I formulated a plan. I repeated the classes that I could. And for those that I couldn't, life is full of decisions. You make some good ones and you make some bad ones. So I just had to look myself in the mirror and say, when I was younger, I made some bad decisions. And now's the time where I can fix them. To directly answer your question, it's not the end of the world. And a lot of these schools will tell you that. They understand that, when you're 18 and you graduate high school and you're thrown into the university, whether it's a 4-year or a 2-year, the whole studying paradigm, it's different. I mean, when I first started back in community college, the professors would actually lock the door. Class started at 8 o'clock. You had to be there 10 minutes early. At 8 o'clock, the professor locked the door.
Wow.
And you had to sit outside and hope that somebody had to use the bathroom for them to open the door, or there was a break. So as long as the schools see an upward trend, you have a chance. Like take Samuel Merritt, for example. It's a PA school up north.
Okay.
I talked to one of their admitting representatives, and they actually admitted a student that had a 2.9 GPA. Now, is that competitive? No, it's not, and that's the truth. But this individual had, I think, over a year of, they went to a foreign country and did a mission. I think it was religion. I think because like the Mormon religion, I think, they do missions. It was something along those lines. But they were in South America. They were down there for a year. But that's what that particular program likes. They like really hardcore helping underserved communities. So that's what this person did to the extreme. So they were willing to overlook that 2.9 because of this other area where this student shines. So what's different about PA versus medical school, just to kind of give some context.
I love that. That's great.
Is because medical school is more of a marathon. You're in high school, you got to keep the 3.5, 4.0. And when you get into college, you have to keep that 3.5, 4.0. And then you have your other extracurricular activities that you may do. Now, you don't really have to work because the schools focus more on the academics. PA school isn't like that. PA school is more of a sprint. Your classes actually expire. A lot of the schools are changing now. It's now 7 to 10 years for expiration, but some of the more competitive schools, it was 5 years. Stanford was one of them. You had 5 years to get all your stuff done and apply, because after that 5th year, then you had to start repeating classes.
Oh. Now tell me a little bit about the club. Who's in your club, and why would somebody want to join your club?
Well, first and foremost, joining a student organization, whether it's PA or any organization, it's something that every college student needs to do, along with internships. Every college student needs to be seriously looking at internships because, again, whether it's PA or grad school, or even if you're just going into the job market like Amgen, like we were talking about, it's one thing to have an education, but what really sets you apart is if you have the experience to back up what you've learned. So with that being said, you want to join our club because it's all about the networking. Plus, like the example that we talked about earlier, like if you're considering it, you're not really sure what a PA is, you have that opportunity to come to our club and you can network with people. You can talk to myself, my other officers, other members, and you can find out, is this right for me? Because I think what plagues a lot of students, plagued me when I was a college student, is you get so focused on what you want, and there's a lot out there that you want.
Right.
I was so overwhelmed when I was younger because I love science, I love biology, and there was just a gazillion things that I wanted to do. But what I didn't do is I didn't focus on the things that I don't want. And I think that's just as important, if not more important, because if you know it's like beans. If you don't like beans, you're never going to eat beans. You're not going to waste your time, or green beans. You're not going to waste your time with green beans. So if you come to my club and you network and you talk, you come see some of our speakers, and you say, you know what, this isn't for me, that's great, because at least now you know PA isn't for me. So that's what's the value of joining our club. Plus, you're going to learn what it takes to be a competitive candidate. You're going to have access to people like myself that have work experience and medical knowledge that can help guide you in the right direction. You're going to have access to community service. I mean, there's just so much that you have access to when you join our club, but all clubs in general. But if you really want to learn what it takes to be a PA, you definitely should join the Physician Assistant Student Club.
All right. Well, if I want to, how do I join? What do I need to do?
Just like every club on campus, you want to go to your MyCI page. You want to scroll down to the tab that says CI Sync. Click CI Sync, and then there's a search bar where you can just type in P, just the letter P, and it'll bring you down to all the clubs that start with P, and we're the first one, and you just click on that, and you can join from there. You can find us at Facebook, CSUCI PASC, and we're also on Instagram and Twitter.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Geoffrey, for being here with us today. And for those of you listening, if you're interested, you can also find out this information on our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram. Bye. Have a great day.